Hello again, folks. Today's projects are get this carb off, see if it's all gummed up. I'm assuming it's gummed up from ethanol fuel or something, so got a little work to do. Take the air cleaner off, take this heat shield off. Should only be these two here. Get that cleaned out. I have the tool here. It's got, it's for like any small orifice to clean out, and it's upside down. Tip cleaner for drill. Tip use cleaner for something or other. And no idea what these numbers mean. So I use the smallest one possible, get it cleaned out. If there's holes in the jets that I can do, I got carb cleaner, and I'll be checking out that little toy. Show you more of that if the generator gets running, because I need the generator to power it up. Otherwise, I'll just talk about it. Here's a problem with getting this carb off. It uses reverse hex fittings. So that's a specialty tool, and that is ridiculous. So basically I have to try to clean the carb with it still mounted on there. No idea how I'm going to turn those out. If I think of something, I'll let you know. Well, I'm going to have to give up on trying to get that carb out myself. So there's no way I can do it without the special tool. So I'm going to run back into town, get some carb cleaner and fuel system cleaner, put that in there, and hope for the best. Oh yeah, drain out the old gas and put in some fresh stuff with the cleaner and see what happens. Well, I couldn't get that carb done, so I just put it back together, the covers. So went into town, had to get fresh gas anyway, so I'm going to try seafoam with it to clean it. And I think the problem could be moisture in the tank. You can't see in there. You'd have to have a really good flashlight to shine down in there. But if you ever see put a good flashlight down in there, you see it looks like little globs of something in the gas. That's water. And this is an old mechanic's trick. Use some gas line antifreeze water remover. This seafoam says it does that too, de-ice and anti-gel. So I don't know how it is at removing water, but I'm going to put both in and let it run for a while with some fresh gas and see what happens. No idea what was wrong with it, getting away from the generator so you can hear me better. No idea what was wrong with it. It's running like crap. Now it's running fine. And I didn't even have a chance for it to run the Marvel Mystery, not Marvel Mystery Oil. That's another good product though, by the way. The seafoam in the heat. It's running fine. No idea why. So, yeah, let that run through a little bit. It started on like 1 or 2 pulls. I honestly have no idea what was up with it, but stop by a local welding shop, look for a piece of scrap steel. I was going to pay for him, for it, but he gave me this piece of 1/4-inch plate. A little rusty, a little crappy. Made his carb cleaner clean that up. He said, Merry Christmas. So, yeah, if I had a cutoff wheel, I'd be I'd get the straight edge out, zip it off, and save the rest of it. But I'm just going to weld on like one corner of this, and this is the better side. So I'm going to get the little poor man's welding shop set up and run some beads on this plate. This is my idea of a poor man's welding setup. With everything so wet, the grass is going to catch fire. It is basically mud here, but got a welding blanket stuffed up under there, and that's a 6x8 welding blanket. I have another one on the porch folded up. I'll be blocking most of the sparks there. And I know the Harbor Freight Flux-core generator. Yeah, Flux-core generator. That'd be a pretty impressive generator. A generator that welds with Flux-core from Harbor Freight. That'd be a new product. Flux-core welder is all set up, ready to go. I know it will run off of this generator, as I tested before. And that's when I discovered I can't weld here, because I had about a 2 square foot grass fire. Most of it was under the cabin. It started out right on the edge and started going under there. If I wanted to reach it in, got to it in time, everything would have went up in smoke. So, welding blankets, these two were, I think, close to $60 for the pair. Amazon Prime shipping. I'll try to put a link to them in the video description if I remember. I don't get any kickbacks from stuff I put links to on Amazon, because I'm not set up for that yet. The 90 amp Flux-core welder. I almost called it a generator again. And this is a 5600 watt. I thought it was a 5500. So yeah, I'll be seeing if it'll run that stick welded. But first, gonna torture test the Harbor Freight Flux-core welder. I have 0.030 wire on max. It's like between 6 and 7 for 030, where it sounds like it runs the best. I'm going to do that on max first, and then run it on min, and take the actual duty cycle off of the video, since I don't have a timer with me, so I'll have to go with that. Yeah, this is the welding spot that I was doing that minimum setting. It took only paused enough to reposition for these beads, and to reposition to keep piling up weld there. Better watch this, I don't touch that, it's probably still freaking hot. Oh yeah, can feel the heat. Yeah, so let's see if this will clean up here. Probably not, because I was welding basically weld on top of weld. Not what you want to do with a Flux-core. You want to weld, scrape it off. But this is just a test of the duty cycle. If I knew where my grinder was, they get stored up in the loft above me, and I don't have a ladder to get up there to reach it. So otherwise I'd be wire wheel this stuff. Yeah, this glob is going to be a real mess. This is not for structural or anything. That was just to test the wire feed rate. Duty cycle it. And it's at 100% at minimum. My hand gave out. Yeah, so these beads are a little heaped up on purpose because I just didn't care about the appearance of the weld. Overall, it didn't do too bad. Yeah, now to get set up for the max setting test. Yeah, that was about 7.5 minutes. These are the welds I did. This weld here, reset, did this weld. Actually, I did this weld here, then this one in the middle, I think. No, I did this one, then this one. And then I did this weld here. This one I tried to do a whip and pause, but I never did it before, so I practiced that. This one, this weld here, I did a push. Focus. I did a push of the puddle, and the bead kind of turned out crappy. But here I wasn't, and remember, any of these welds I was doing, I was not concerned about how they looked. I just wanted to see how long it would run, so I just moved to keep, you know, just to let it pile up real good and just keep it moving. Here, I tried to do this motion. I'd come forward, move back a little bit, so it really built up a lot of metal here. Focus, this piece of junk. And then here, I just let it pile up. I was getting tired, so then I just moved over here. It really started sputtering here, and then you saw in the video how it just conked out right there. So, yeah, for general repairs, this little Harbor Freight Flux-core welder could actually do near production level work at the temperature. It's about 45 now, I think. It warmed up from the min test. That was the first one. This max test was at like 45 to 50. It's like 50 here in the sun. In the shade, it might be like 40. Yeah, it's and they only rate this little welder at 20% duty cycle on max, and that is at, when they do the duty cycle, they do that test, laboratory test, I think it's 105 to 108 degrees, so we'll just say 105. And that's how many minutes out of 10 it can run. And it's only rated for to run for 2 minutes. Then you got to let it cool. This did, if you take out the pauses, just under 7.5 minutes. Might be 7.25. I'd have to time each individual pause. Those are only a couple of seconds each. Yeah, so it's a full 7 minutes you could run this thing at full power. So yeah, pretty impressive. And for the money you spend, $90 or so on coupon, I think. Regular might be 100 or 120. Super coupon or parking lot sale, it's $90, I think. Regular coupon, it's 100. Without the coupon, it's like $120. So yeah, it's definitely worth the money if you have just a few simple repairs to do. You don't want to get the best welder, or you just want to try it out. It is definitely a very good welder. And to show you the wire I'm using, I'm not using the Harbor Freight wire. I'm using GS wire. That means general purpose. It's only single pass. E71TGS. Yeah, that means it's single pass only. I have T11 wire. This Harbor Freight Flux-core welder can hold 10-pound spools. You don't need to get the little cheap 2-pounders. All you need to do is shorten up this tube here just a little bit to get the spool past it, and it works. Yes, and it seemed to run best on 7. I just guessed, looking at the chart, it says like 9 for 3/16 steel. But yeah, I was doing 7, you know, probably because it was a little colder out. It's not going to melt as easy, so that might have had something to do with it. But I think my settings on min was too much. I turned it down to 3 on that test. I thought I heard a door close over here. No visitors. So yeah, so the 4 is way too much for you know, when doing a practice beads. I turned it down to 3, and it still seemed to skip and jump. You know, once in a while where the wire touches the puddle, it seemed to hit. I could feel it bounce off of what doesn't have enough heat on min. It seems a little cold, but on max, it ran almost flawlessly as far as the wire touching the metal. You know, I almost had zero of this, you know, the wire bounced off. You can physically feel it, so. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll put links in the video description of some of the stuff that I use, like the wire. I'll try to put a link in there. I got this auto darkening helmet. It's a cheap one, but it works. It works good. I'll put a link for that, and the welding blankets. Now to get set up and set up for my next welder test, and enjoy that in the next video.